Hey everyone, I'm home now and it is, what time? 9 PM? That's not relevant because when you see this video, it ain't gonna be 9 PM. Oh my god, I'm about to be attacked by my son! Hey Oscar, you wanna be in the video? Oh, you can look at the camera. Hey, say hi Oscar. Say hi Daddy. Say hi everyone. No, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? Look here. Say hello. No. Okay, Mummy.
Mommy, I'm busy.
Take the baby away.
Mommy wants.
Okay, let's talk with the baby. Fine. So I want to talk today a little bit about benefits and whether benefits are a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not going to be specific with or am I? Let's be more specific. Yeah. Let's talk about like the unemployment benefits, like I don't even know what it's called now. Job seekers, allowance, universal credit, whatever they call it in your country if you have benefits like this. The one where you haven't got a job and the state, oh my god, and the state gives you some money because you haven't got a job. Okay, Hero. No, Hero. Oh my god. Thank you. Alright, so we're going to talk about that one, that benefit, whatever it's called wherever you are. I don't even know what it's called back home now. I just know it as benefits. The dole. Is it the dole? Is that different? I don't even know. Whatever. The benefits. And what I think that does to society or for society. So after being in China for 7.5 years now, a bit more, or is it 8 years? How many years has it been? I haven't even got how many years it's been. 8 years. 8 years. I forgot. 7.5 years. Whatever, not important. I've started to rethink benefits. And before, if you'd have asked me when I was back home, I would have said benefits are a good thing for society because it keeps the poorest people sort of... Is that the noise from the camera? Sorry, I just heard a noise. Anyway, so yeah, my thoughts before were that benefits keep the poorest people sort of in line with the minimum sort of expenditures and requirements of society of the day. That was a terrible explanation. Anyway, benefits. I thought benefits were a great thing because it keeps the poor people from feeling the need to go out robbing people and stabbing people and all that stuff. But obviously benefits doesn't really work because I think there's more stabbings / robberies and all that lot in England than there are in China per sort of, you know, per thousand of the population, let's say. And I'm thinking, is that because of the way that the benefits system works? So in England, let's say you're poor, your family's poor and you're poor and you have no education, most people don't really worry too much. I say most, I know that there are some people that really have it bad, but I'm just saying generally, most people don't need to worry too much because they'll have a house, they'll have somewhere to live, and especially if they have a baby, if they're married and they have a child, they'll have somewhere to live, and they'll have at least a basic, you know, amount of money to buy food. I'm not saying they're going to be rich, but they'll have a basic amount of money to survive and live, and their child can then go to school for free because school is free in the UK, and if you get sick you can go to hospital, it's free, and there's so many sort of benefits that you get, not just for the unemployed of course, because school and home is not, you know, it's not related, but I'm just throwing that in there because I'm going to compare it to China in a minute. And it sort of makes people a little lazy in some ways. So there's certain jobs that people just won't want to get or won't want to do because they think that it's the same amount of money as the benefits, or like the amount of work you need to do to get that money compared to just doing nothing and getting the benefits, it doesn't add up. So I think that's not very good. But in general, for society, I've always thought the benefits was a good thing because, you know, it, like I said, it keeps the poor in line, keeps the poor sort of off, it keeps the poor from falling off, you know, into like nothingness, and they can still have a roof over their head and they can still be like normal people, you know, dignity. But then when I came to China and I realized that there's a huge emphasis on the family and staying together as a family from the older generation to the younger generation. And this is all sort of done through money and wealth in some ways. So there are no benefits, slash if there are, it is tiny, and I'm talking like you wouldn't be able to survive on any of the benefits in China. You wouldn't survive. There's nothing like in the UK. You don't get a home, somewhere to live, enough to cover any rent anywhere. There's nothing like that. I'm not actually sure the level of the benefits, but I know, I've spoken to a lot of people. Most people say there are no benefits, and the ones that do say benefits, they say it's like next to nothing. And I'm talking not like next to nothing like £200 a week. I'm talking next to nothing like nothing. So if you think about that from a standpoint of you have to pay for your kids to go to school. So if you have no money, your kids can't go to school. You have to pay for the hospital. So if you're sick, or not just if you're sick, anyone in your family is sick, you have to help to pay for that because it's really expensive. And pretty much buying a house, I mean, every city has its own sort of standard, so I'm not saying that everywhere in China is expensive, but let's just say Beijing is ridiculously expensive. But if you go to some other place in China, then, I guess it's the same with everywhere. The cost of living, the cost of an apartment, the cost of a home is according to the salaries in that place. And there's no way you can buy an apartment if you are not working. There's no way you can rent an apartment if you're not working. So there's no incentive to fail at school because your parents are working their ass off to send you to school. It's not like in England where if you fail at school, it's like, well, you're on your own. Parents didn't exactly directly pay for it. They contributed to the taxes, but they didn't pay for your schooling in most cases. Whereas here, they specifically are. I'm paying this bill, it's for your schooling. And if your grandparents or your parents get sick, sometimes the cost of that is like selling a house. So they have to sell an apartment, or they have to get rid of a lot of money or borrow a lot of money just if someone's sick. There's a lot of pressure to earn money here, and that sort of makes people work harder, I think. Because if you don't work, you're gonna die pretty much. If you don't work, you're not gonna have food. It's not like back home where, if you don't work, you just won't be able to get takeaway as much, but you can still eat the same as everyone else and go to the pub like everyone else. It's not the same like that. If you don't work here, you don't do anything. You can't do anything because every step of the way costs something. It costs something to do everything. Now, again, there's good and bad to that. The good, I think, is that most people here are not lazy. I'm not suggesting that everyone here is like super efficient at their job and gets everything done really quickly, but most people generally they don't have this attitude of like, I'm not going to go into work today, or I'm not going to go to work, or I don't want to find a job or anything. Because where you're living, you're not going to live at home with your parents. No way. You can, because they'll let you live there, but there's no way that it would be accepted that you're just not working and you're staying at home. No way. So the good things are that people work hard. And when I think back home, I know people who just don't want to work and won't go to find a job because they don't want to work, and they think that there's no need to work because the benefits can cover everything, and if they have this, they can get more benefits. And I just feel like, is that good for society? Is that really good for society? I don't think so. Especially now that we're heading off the cliff for Brexit, I feel like now we really need people to get off their ass and start working, because there's a lot of people who are able to do stuff, but they're just like, why? I don't want to do that kind of job. Nah, I'm not doing that. And they can say that because they're coming from a position of comfort in some ways, that they know that they can go home to somewhere and they're not going to be made homeless. Although I've seen that universal credit is making some people homeless, but generally most people, they're not being made homeless. They can still go home. They can still afford the rent from the benefits, and yeah. So yeah, people here work a lot harder, and that's why I feel like, places are open much later. People work harder, and stuff gets done here a lot faster than back home. Yeah, sure, it's kind of a communist country, so there's like, you have no rights. It's like, we're gonna do this whether you like it or not at any time of the day. Yeah, I don't really like that, but there needs to be a bit of a balance, isn't there? What do you think about benefits in general? I'm not talking about benefits for people who like literally cannot do anything and like, you know, I'm talking about benefits for the people who, let's say me, let's say I go back home to England and then I decide, you know what, I'm not gonna work, I'm just gonna claim benefits. Like, that kind of attitude. What do you think about those people, just those people? Perfectly able to work, but just like, nah, I'm not gonna work because can't be bothered, or because I don't like that job, or whatever. Do you think those people should be covered and protected by benefits? Would it cause riots if you said that those people, you're just gonna be made homeless, your benefits are gonna be stopped? Like, what do you think would happen? I always wonder, like, if they didn't have money, would there be more burglaries, robberies, knife stabbings and all that lot? Would it make it worse? And why doesn't that stuff happen here? Poor people here, I'm not saying that they're perfect. They pickpocket, yeah, but they don't, there's hardly any sort of like that kind of crime where there's gangs that are gonna steal money and rob banks and stuff like that. Hardly happening here. And there's no sort of thing where young people just like chill and don't do anything for a few years. No way. You finish school, you go to uni. Most people go to uni and then they'll go out and get a job, or they'll try to get a job. I'm not saying there's a job for everyone, but when you're not working, you're an expense and no one's getting money for you not working, and neither are you. So I kind of look at that and I think, yeah, it's good in some ways. But the people who can't work should be protected, like the disabled people, like real disabled people. But people who can work, get off your ass and do something, right? It's a controversial subject, huh? Anyway, what do you think about benefits in general? There's probably a lot more that I haven't even thought about or covered, so just let me know. I don't know. I'm not an expert, just a thought that went through my head today, and I'm not bashing anyone, I'm just saying, you know, people who are fully able to work, I think they should go out to work. Okay, subscribe, see you tomorrow, bye bye.